I'm Charmaine Kawaguchi from New Haven Unified. Now, I saw Barbara Siegel here from Castro Valley. How many teachers from Castro Valley? Barbara, where are your teachers? San Leandro? San Lorenzo? Newark? New Haven? And Hayward? I have the pleasure today of introducing State Senator Corbett, our friend in education. Today, on the Day of the Teacher, Governor Schwarzenegger released his May Revise. Did he value our children? No. He said, less money. He wants to borrow money from the lottery funds. He wants to cut categoricals. He's talking about ending class size reduction. We need friends like Senator Corbett in the state pushing for our children. So please give her your attention. Thank you.
Thank you all. Let me applaud you for being out here for this very good cause on this very hot afternoon. But I think it's very appropriate that it's a very hot day here in Hayward, because some hot things are going on, not necessarily good. I don't know if any of you had an opportunity yet to take a look at what the governor has proposed in today's May Revise. I had an opportunity to get a few of the bits and pieces of information that's coming out. I haven't had a chance yet to read all the details, so I can't really report to you on all of the details. But what I can tell you, there's one little small piece of good news coming out of what he announced today. There is no doubt he's been paying attention to the rallies, the marches, the people visiting Sacramento, the letters and the emails that you've all been sending. There's no doubt about that. That is the good news. There's no doubt that he's starting to feel a little sensitive about trying to do something about this very important issue. Because today, he made some announcements, but he did speak to trying to find some revenue. Now, he didn't go the way I wish he would have gone. Charmaine has already mentioned that he's talked about using the future proceeds of the state lottery to securitize bonds that would then pay for schools and put together a sort of a rainy day fund. I don't really think that's the right way to go. The other good news is, though, this measure that would be put on the ballot, this isn't good news, it would be put on the ballot not until November, and if it doesn't pass or it fails to raise the amount of revenue that the governor believes that it should, a state sales tax could be triggered of 1%. So, I know it doesn't sound so good, but the good news is the governor at least is talking about revenue, and that's a huge breakthrough. But here's the problem. Here's the problem. It doesn't solve any long-term problem that we have. It's short-term, and in fact, it might hurt us going into the future, since he's talking about basically borrowing money for the future. This proposal doesn't do anything to move us out of 43rd position in the nation. It doesn't do anything to stop or reduce our overcrowded classrooms. It doesn't do one thing to stop teachers from being laid off. And shame on him on the Day of the Teacher throughout the state of California that he's announcing this sort of proposal. Unfortunately, this proposal continues the same irresponsible spending practices that he has proposed in the past. Now, do you all remember not that long ago that he promised to cut up the credit cards? Yeah. Well, by today's proposal, he's sending out applications for new ones. I don't know everything about this proposal, but I don't think it's going to balance spending, and it's definitely not going to find the sort of revenues. Thank you very much. It's not going to find the sort of revenues that we need to find. I don't think it's an honest budget either, and how can he tell us he's going to cut up the credit cards when it looks like all he's doing is finding more credit cards to charge against? The proposal still borrows into the future and to pay the bills of today. And if our economy gets any worse, what do you think is going to happen? We'll be back to where we were 4 years ago with borrowing in advance. He believes, and he stated this in today's pronouncement, that he believes he's protecting our basic education. He believes that he's preserving Proposition 98. But he's not doing anything for the future of our kids here in Sacramento. In fact, his proposal does other things. It cuts programs for people with disabilities, it cuts programs for seniors, and it cuts programs for poor children. People are hurting, we all know this. People are losing their homes, and gas is over $4 a gallon. I think one of the things that I want to tell you, I heard him say today, that just really set me on edge was he said, can you believe this? When he was talking about the lottery, and he was talking about finding ways to ensure that the lottery would have more revenue so we could borrow against it into the future, he said, you know, we can do so much more with the lottery. It's 28th in the nation, and people in California like to be first. Why isn't he saying that about our schools? Can you believe that? He's worried about the fact that the lottery is 28th when we are 34th in spending for our schools. I don't know about you, but that was highly insulting. And then the other thing he said that was highly insulting, please know that the legislators have also heard your message, your phone calls, your visits. We are very concerned, at least a majority of the legislators, not the 2/3 yet, but a majority of the legislators have heard what you have said. And the governor said in his speech today, well, those legislators, a lot of them, the first thing they want to do is go raise a tax. Well, I want to tell you something. That is not true. What we have been doing is struggling and anguishing and trying to figure out any which way we can close this deficit gap. We have been looking for revenue. We have been looking at ways to close loopholes. We haven't gone to taxes as the first resort, but we also know it's the last resort. And that's where you go in time of crisis. And if the governor hasn't figured it out yet, we are in a time of crisis. It's time to find real revenue, to honor our teachers, take care of our families, and make sure our children have the future we believe that California should provide. Thank you all for being here, and congratulations to all of you wonderful teachers, and thank you for the work you're doing. I'm so glad you care. Please do whatever you can to keep this message going. We have more work to do. The governor hasn't gotten the message yet, so keep it up. Thank you all very much.